Hey guys, we're back this time, and this time the audio is definitely running for part 2 of our trip to Sydney. So as you can see, that there is YSSY, aka Sydney. Mint, we're nearly there. Right, so what I can do now is I've done a quick weather check, and ILS 16 right. Actually, let's do got an RNAV 16 right? Yes, we do. RNAV 16 right. And we're taking a Marlin 16 Bravo. Just goes crazy. So I go from Marlin to Prawn to Tessa to Cathay. I'm assuming that's meant to be Cathay, but okay, that's concerning. And worst case scenario, I'll just radar vector myself that bit. Whoa, there we go, Cathay, and I'll just drop it into that section. That gives us a reasonably, well, more accurate approach mapping. So that's 16 right, and it's a 3-degree approach path. Now what I can do is go and find the charts for Sydney. Bum, bum. So I'll just pop these up in a second or two. YSSY. Okay, I'm just going to swing you guys over onto the correct charts now. Sorry, so you can see the charts now, hopefully. There we go. So Sydney in Australia. Good, we're looking at the correct charts. Right, we're landing on runway 16 right, which gives us, so I think it's actually, yeah, it's one of the longest runways at Sydney. I think it gives us a long taxi back as well, though, which is it's a shame, but I can deal with it. Right, 16 right. So I've got 3,877 feet of runway, meters of runway to land on. Plenty sufficient. Yeah, we're landing. Oh no, I thought we were landing on this one for a second. No, we're landing on this one, and we should be vacating about here, if my calculations are correct. If not, we'll vacate here or here. It makes not much of a difference. We'll probably be forced to vacate actually left and then up this taxiway into the international terminal. So I don't want to end up in this terminal because it's a domestic area by accident. Okay, so we can now look at approach plates again. So we come up Alpha, probably onto international 30 or 32. Not quite sure yet. Right, scrolling down. Keep scrolling, scrolling, scrolling. Right, I'm just going to zoom this out slightly. So that's RNAV, just the wrong runways. 2516 right, there we go. So decision height, because we've got a full RNAV capability today, is 520 feet. So I'll ident that in a few minutes. Nothing specifically ridiculous to look at here. Coming in over the centre of Sydney, over Cathay, Sid NF, Sid NM, and Sydney. Go around will take us out towards Sid NH and on a heading of 170. Sounds good. Sydney DME is on a frequency of 112.1. I will ident that into nav 1 radio. That's about it really. Transition altitude here is 10,000, so I'll install that in the descent forecast. And our final approach track is a heading of 155. Okay guys, so I'm going to cut this video here, and then I'm going to fast forward a bit until we're about midway through the descent, so you guys can then see me landing, because I'm cool. Good luck folks, see you then, bye bye. Hey guys, welcome back to part 2 of this glorious recording. As usual, I've managed to forget to turn my mic back on after muting it to speak to somebody. Anyway, so I'm just going to swing the heading back around to about 250, was it? 250? And talk to you guys for a bit. Anyway, so as I say, I managed to leave my mic switched off, so that's why the audio on this bit is going to be able to sync a little bit as well. I don't know why I've got the fuzzy sound in the background. I think it's my game audio that's doing it, apparently. Whoa! What do you think you're doing, Mr. Aeroplane? Anyway, so Cathay goes into the directs. There we go, so we're going direct to Cathay, well, to Prawn, then direct Cathay from there, because that's going to be quicker in terms of the thing, and smoother, and we get to land quicker. And I want to do 180 at Cathay, just because that turn looks quite steep. I can tell you now it is very steep. Okay, so just going back into map mode, just bring the range down a bit. It's about 32 miles till prawn waypoint now, a little bit on the fast side. I've already preemptively put the landing lights on. That could go on too. I think I've switched the turn-offs off actually now, but anyway, that doesn't really matter. Strobes, they're on. Yeah, taxi lights should be off because we're still in the air. So, 30 miles till prawn. I'm now about to try and work out what time it is. So how much we've actually spent en route. It was 13 hours 10 minutes at this stage, but I'm not sure if I actually worked that out or not. So it was a 13:40 overall trip time. And we still landed with 15 tons of fuel on board, which is like enough for another 2 hours flying time, which I just find crazy. Anyway. Auto brakes. Auto brakes 2 is a sufficient auto brake setting for the landing. I did a top cut calculation after I finished the first video, but I don't really think I need to screenshot that for you guys. So yeah, it's weird doing this because if I talk about something that's just happening today, it's like you guys will be like, happened last week. You know, because I'm 6 days ahead of myself right now. I'm just making 2 videos a day every day. That'll keep me nicely ahead. So I'd rather be ahead, so I've then got the ability to take a day or 2 of downtime than be kind of chasing my own tail around. As he tries to get to the top of his Twitter feed. There we go. But yeah. So if you've got any suggestions, comments, whatevers, do let me know. Anyway, we've got 30,000 feet. Just decelerating now to our GS capture speed. And just got to tweet a selfie. Anyway, but yeah. So if you've got any questions, comments, or queries, notes, anyway, questions, comments, queries, whatever, advice, whatever you want to give me it in the comment section below. I'm going to direct Kathy now because it looks like it's going to be the easiest method for this approach with the smoothest angles overall. Okay. Oh, damn it. Anyway, folks, so yeah, it's been a very enjoyable flight this in VH/VPH. We've got 20 minutes to go now. Should be pretty cool. Yeah, it's okay. So as I say, we're just still descending down now. Didn't realise that would pause it. Anyway, as you can see, right, just going on map mode. VOR's on left, which is the Sydney VOR. They use hectopascals in this country, I think. And we can change to local setting now, which is 1018. Which is a slight variation of what it was last time I checked the weather on the way in, because it was 1019 before, so very slight variation. Less than 1 HPA's worth of a variation. Okay. So yeah, just do a quick PA to the cabin. So PA. So ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, cabin crew, Tim's landing. Cabin crew, Tim's landing. Thank you. There we go. PA is now off, and back to normal mic. And it's 10 minutes, well, 10,000 feet. So yeah, it is usually about 10 minutes to go, really. 10 minutes and 23 air miles, 23 straight line miles, about 35 actual miles to go now. Alright. If you've got any, as I say, if you do have any questions, comments, queries, quips, that's what I was looking for. Oops, there we go, we're actually in external mode now, just because I fancied to look outside in VH/VPH before we got to Sydney. So as I say, it's a very, very pretty livery, and you can see why they chose it, because when you get it into the clouds, it just looks absolutely sexual. I know that's probably inappropriate to say, but I'm not wrong. It looks really dead pretty. It looked a lot prettier in my sim, I've got to say, than it did in here, because, yeah, because of the way I capture. But, and I mean, even just the modelling of PMDG, that even you can see the wing fluttering as we're passing through the turbulence of the clouds. It's just outstanding. Every single time I mount up a PMDG, it never ceases to impress me. But anyway, so we're I just love the size of the engines on this thing as well. It's just so pretty. It's just so pretty. Again, I don't know how PMDG do the visuals, but they do them so blooming nicely. There we go. So, just going to go back inside now. There we go. So I just fast forwarded a few moments. We're descending through 6,000 feet, a little bit on the fast side. So close to an OOM, the ground textures aren't even rendering right now. But we'll YOLO it from here. So, drag required apparently. So, but if we stick speed brake out, we'll get a speed brake warning. So I'm just going to clear that and let it go without, basically. I'm going to probably stop commentating for a little bit because I'm running out of things to talk about on the approach. As I say, it's an on-nav approach, so basically the idea of an on-nav approach is when they devised aircraft with GPS in them, they could basically do their own approaches to a very high degree of accuracy. I mean, in the 777, our current lateral navigational potential is telling me where I am to within 0.06 of a mile. It's probably better than I could tell you when I'm sitting here right now. And our lateral is telling us where we are to within, I think that says 52 feet of track. So that's, remarkably accurate. And they said, well, they don't need ILSs if they're flying stuff like this. They just need, whoa, the wind change. If they can use the systems on board to go through predetermined points on the approach, there's no need for an ILS. And that's basically how RNAV came about. Still not certified to go particularly low. I'm just going to use flitch mode at this stage. As you can see, I've also set the altitude to 520, which is the minimums on this approach. That's the way you have to configure the aircraft if you're doing RNAV approaches. You put your minimums, or your MDA, sorry, into the altitude window. Another FMC message. Drag required. Well, no, mate. So, turning left a little bit. This is, I think we are using, the flashes and glitches indicate to me that it's Orbex Australia scenery, and yeah. But as I know, I said to you guys that we'd probably go sailing through the centre line this turn. I can tell you now we are going to go sailing through the centre line. But it may make actually quite a nice landing in the end, because it's me and I'm an MLG Pro pilot. I'm going to say I love the colour of that that water texture over there, but no, it's not water texture. It's just a glitch. Okay, airspeed's coming back. You will be surprised that we will make it down to the correct altitude now. Okay, so speed brake is out, I suppose. Go in, can have the views to gear, because that's probably the best way to have it. We're landing at 141 knots, IAS, I suppose. There's flaps 5 now. We'll slow down nicely to 180 knots by doing this, and it doesn't mean we've got to stick the gear down. Sorry, got the spoiler down, but I'm going to probably retract the spoiler in a few seconds and just drop an extra lump of flap, which will mean we don't have as much loss of lift, but we actually gain lift through the turn, which is what we need to make a steeper turn. See where these ideas come from? I'm genius at heart, really. I promise. I'm a smart guy. What do you think I am? No. Right, flaps 15. There we go. I don't know what I'm just rambling on about right now. Anyway, so whoa, another wind change. Speed brake's extended. I'm not getting a caution for that, but if I retract it, do I get a? No, I don't get a drag required caution. We're just going to do our turn onto the final approach now. It's going to be a very, very steep turn. First officer is now making the PA for the cabin crew to take their seats for the landing. Some airlines have like a bing bong, bing bong, bing bong if it's 2 minutes to go. But at 10 minutes they should technically be seated, but 2 minutes is like the last minute they can do it. But I've never known cabin crew be in their seats at the 10-minute bing bong. So, yeah. And it's 1.5. Well, for some reason I went to 1.52, but it's actually 1.55 for the approach. The final approach track. I really do like it. It almost feels a bit like Prepared. And then he realises it was FSX all along. Okay, there we go. So we are significantly to the left of centre line right now, but the aircraft does pretty well at lining us up for the approach. So professional with that bing bong that you would have heard about 3 times thanks to the echo due to the setup I use. Okay, I'll take flaps 20, gear is down now, gear down, 3 green, gear doors closed. Yeah, it's quite a pretty approach this, I think, personally. And we'll just hit a 145 knot restriction, and it's SNDM, which is, like, yeah, on the threshold I suppose, but still. 148. There we go. So that will start slowing the aircraft down from 180 knots. And just turning left onto the centre line now, and descending on profile. It's one of the good things as well is the aircraft can descend if it knows it's clear to descend. Whereas if you're doing ILS, it won't descend until you establish unless you're established localizer first. There we go. English skills, non-existent. 25 and flap 30. That'll help the airspeed bleed off a bit. The spoilers can be armed now for the landing. Okay, we're coming in. As you can see, we are pretty good on in terms of profile. We just need to get this airspeed to come off now. I'm probably going to disconnect the autopilot in the next couple of seconds just to and fly it in. Well, I can tell you I disconnect the autopilot in the next couple of seconds. Okay, and it's 155. Yeah, there we go. I worked out my mistake. You can see though, the RNAV approach, I suppose I should be benchmarking altitudes and all sorts of stuff, but it's pretty cool. And the aircraft can tell if it's on profile or not, which you can't do with the ILS for some reason. Okay, I'm now just going to disconnect the auto throttles. Oh, there we go. Disconnect the auto throttle. And flight director off. The autopilot is also off now. Okay, there, just a little bit of stick shake and a little bit too low on the power there for a second. But we'll just hold this up. I'm probably going to land a little bit on the fast side, but I don't object to that because it's a little bit of a blustery day at Sydney. There we go. We'll be vacating right on the first right. So, as you can see, we're on profile now. Just a little bit of a stick shake going on, a little bit of a rudder pedal, just to keep us roughly established on profile. And as you can see, we just got a little bit of throttle input here, there. And just as I stick to steering, just that little bit, just to make sure we are perfectly on profile for the landing. Okay, on glide, on loc, pretty good actually. I'm impressed with myself watching this back. Now coming down north, correct pitch. So that's 100 feet coming up now. There we go. That's 100. 60, 50, power off, and flaring. Probably a little bit of a bump there actually. I'm not quite sure. If the landing reference speed looked like about 200 FPM, which is still pretty good in my opinion. Anyway, and reverse is coming up. So it's forward reverse now. 80 knots, close reverses. I'm just going to take off a manual wheel braking. The next at 60, I think I did it. Did I? Alright. I mustn't have done it at all. So, yeah, I had an issue with my control mapping, I think. Auto brakes now disconnected, so we're just rolling the aircraft in at about 20 knots. We're going to vacate onto this right-hand turn. There's no point waiting for the high speed because it'll just increase our taxi run. Okay, we did obviously not turn the stop clock on until a little bit after departure, so I'm going to leave it on until we reach the stand. Okay, so just going to, it's quite a tight turn, so we need to put the nose wheels about 6 foot behind us, so we need to go 6 foot in front of the turn, then turn. There we go, not fully a nose over grass turn. Fun fact, if you have most of the spotting photographs you see from Sydney, as well as some pretty iconic ones of an A380 taxiing down this taxiway, that is probably one of the most favourite spotting beaches in Australia. It's almost like they won at St Martin, but I think that's probably the most legendary one of them all. Okay, so taxiing. I'm just going to stop when we straighten out a bit, because it is pretty empty of traffic today, i.e. we are the only people alive in the world. Okay, so we'll just, gear is good, we'll just check the flight controls to ensure the flaps are retracting. as I ask for them to, or call for the retraction. Flaps 1, flaps up. There we go. So I'm just going to use, again, to go back to the gear page, flaps are retracting. What am I doing now then? First officer's flight director comes off. Going up to the overhead, I'm turning the APU on. Yeah, I didn't switch it to start. I can tell you for nothing now that when we get to understand the APU hasn't started. I was wondering why it hadn't started. And that all comes off. I'm just going down to the bottom now to switch the transponder off. And I'm just going to go to the external view again. There we go. Actually, you can use it when the easy dock views, but the APU started according to the tail cone being open. Or does moving it to the on position just open the tail cone? Or the APU fan? I don't even know that anymore. Anyway, let's just taxi the aircraft in. So just releasing the brakes. As you can see, it's just a nice straight long taxi in here. It's probably the best take on a tail view I can get with this aircraft, but I quite like it. Well, so we're just going to go to stand 30. I'm just going to check where that is on the charts, which is why we kind of start veering all over the place like this. And I catch it about now. Anyway, okay, so I've got it on charts. Now just sort that out for the GSX. So I'll just go to normal gate, and it's gate 30. Gate 30 heavy. No following is required. And I'll get Virgin Australia to handle us tonight, because we're landing in Sydney, which is like our home base and all that. Home base. I can't even talk with Australian accent anymore. I need to learn it again. Kind of developing it, but yeah. Okay, we'll pretend we're clear to cross the runway again. There's nobody in town, so we don't need to even check. Nobody in this spot, nobody in the world really that's flying in an aeroplane except us, because I've turned all the AI traffic off because it annoyed me. You can make it look good, but it just like starts flying into you and stuff. Anyway, second left. You can hear my bed calling me already. 13 and a bit hours is quite a long flight to make actually. And we're arriving about 5 o'clock in the afternoon in Sydney, so it's enough time for us to it's 4 or 5 o'clock, so it's enough time for us to go and find a nice place to go and grab a beer. And I hear the crabs are quite nice this time of year. Oops, flight controls again. I just love the animation on the flight controls. I'm just going to wiggle it probably a bit now just to go, oh my god, flight controls. Not yet, I don't. Well, anyway, but got a decent taxi speed going on now. I just love taxiing this from the external view because it just looks so pretty. Oh my god, flight controls! They look so pretty! They look so pretty though! Yeah! I love flight controls! Oh my god, this voice hurts! I can't keep this up for long. So anyway guys, I'm going to taxi into the stand in a few moments and realise the APU hasn't started. Even though just the ambient sound must be the sound my computer makes. Because I've got the same audio muted as you can see top right hand corner. Now stand 30, it's the one on the end there. I'm going to have to go to the internal view to park because it's going to be quite a challenge to park from the external view. To be honest, it'd probably be easier, but I only realised that now and I've got no control over it. Ooh, texture lags. Again, I'm not complaining because it's so close to an OOM. It probably still remembers most of the main buildings at SeaTac. Okay, so ground speed's 10 knots now. That's about right for the taxi manoeuvre. I think it's Virgin Australia with the ASDs. Oh my god, I should still be on Aussie. As you can see, the Marshal is also on the marshalling ladder. I believe it's a marshalling ladder. But anyway, he's standing on top of that today. Which actually is what they use for marshalling aircraft this size in. If you saw the photographs of a Singapore Airlines A330 being, well, kneeling, as they joke, kneeling before its passengers, that's basically what it basically squashed to one of those. I think that's what the debris under the nose looks like. Okay, so got to meet it well, not too bad in terms of parking. He gives us a not very good parking feedback, but yeah. He doesn't actually marshal us correctly. He shouldn't. That's definitely not the nearly there. It's just you move your arms up. But if I'm moving at this pace, it'd be like waving me in still. And if you overrun, he starts waving at you, which is completely wrong, because waving at you actually means taxi to me faster. Watch. When I overrun this. Alright, I don't overrun it. And see what he's doing there? That means taxi forwards faster. I'm not lying. Okay, so just check the APUs online. Which it isn't. I can tell you that now. As you can see, yep, no it's not. And I'm like, why is it not online? So I then go and check the status page. And I'm like, oh, I haven't switched it on. Oh my god, it's not on. Right, quickly connect the external ground power unit, and then shut the engines down. So wheel chocks are set, dual connection plug-in, and we'll just switch the engines off. Actually, we'll connect it, then we'll switch the engines off. Just switch the APU to the off position because it's obviously not working. Okay, and one off, two off, one off. There we go. So guys, this is going to be it from me for this trip, and we're just actually going to take the lights off, and we'll just, yeah, go stuff yourself. You're standing in the wrong place to give me good parking instructions. Anyway, so you can see we're on the ground now at Sydney. I'm just going to disembark the passengers now. Probably just going to do the old request deboarding. Okay, folks, I'm going to cut my commentary here. Thanks for watching, folks, and I'll see you all on the next one. Bye bye.